各位亲爱的朋友，大家好。
Dear friends, hello everyone.
上一期呢，我们讨论了灵魂的能力。
In the last episode, we discussed the power of the
我
soul.
们再继续讨论。
Today, we will continue discussions about the soul and reality.
听起来挺理性的哈。
This sounds quite
我们
rational,
往往
right?
通常会讲到人
We
生
often say
的
that
全
all of
部
life is ultimately
无非就是
based on
建立在
their
这个肉
physical
体
body.
上。小时候我也这样
When I was young,
想过这个问题。
I also pondered these
觉得
questions.
如果说这个
I thought
如果
that
这个
whether or not there is a
如
soul,
果这个肉体死了
if
那
this body
灵
dies
魂
and
呢，
perish,
就像那个灯泡
the soul
没
is
有了
like
电
a
和
light
灯泡坏
bulb
了之后
without
光也没有。
electricity,
我这么看
or
很刻意
when
地
the bulb
理解这个事
breaks, the light is gone too.
又根据这么多年的修行和接
This is
触，
how I seemingly understand it
我
significantly,
觉得灵魂的存在
but
好像
based
跟
on many
不是一
years
样
of practice and
这
experience,
个肉体哈，
I
就是毁
feel
灭
that
了
soul's
啊
existence
埋
might
在
not
土
be
里
like
了
that.
它变成灰，
The
或者
body
直接
is
火化，
destroyed, buried in the ground, or turned to ashes, or
它
simply
可能
cremated.
可以灵魂呢就可
Yet
以
it
依
seems
赖
that
于
soul
一
still
个肉
remains.
体一个生命
The
的
soul
存
might
在，
be able to
它是
rely on
可
a
以不
physical
借助
body,
任何
a
的
living
生命
existence.
体而单独
It
的
can
存在，
also exist
这是
independently,
灵魂本身就可以
without
独立
any
存
living
在。
beings.
这就是我所理解的
The
理
soul
性上
itself
灵魂
can
存在的
exist
正
on
义，
its own.
就它可以不依附
This
于
is how
任
I
何东西。
understand this
就
phenomenon.
在这个修行和教学当
The
中呢，
existence of the soul
事实
phenomenon
上
means
是
it does
几乎
not
每
depend
天
on
都会面
anything.
临的和在这接触之中帮大家解
In
决问题的
practice
时
and
候，
teaching,
就
we
会遇
actually
到
face this
与
almost every
人
day.
肉体疾病与这个
In
前
interacting
世
with
今生
everyone and
还有一
helping
个
solve
灵
their
魂之间
problems,
的关系。
I encounter issues related to
这关
people,
键呢，有很
physical
多涉及
ailments,
到
past
就
and
是他
presents,
自己前
and the
世
connections
他
between
做了什么，
souls.
他这个灵
Many
魂
of
做
these
了什么，他
connections
是什么。
involve what the
还有一
person
个
did
呢，
in
就
their
是
past life,
有一个灵魂和
what
每
their
天相
souls
关
has
的，就
done,
是你的这
and
个祖
who
先的
they
祖先。
are.
比如说你父母、父母的父
Additionally,
母，
there is a soul
甚至可
connected
类
to
似于
each
下一代，
person,
所
which
以
is
他
that
们
of your
是一种
ancestors and
灵魂状态
forebears.
的存在，
For example, your
而是
parents,
彼此产
your
生的
parents'
感应。
parents, and so on down the
没
line.
有问题。
对，师傅说到这个灵魂存在的这种感觉
In fact, they all exist in a kind of spiritual state and even resonate with each other.
是台湾的一个
Master, you mentioned the feelings of soul existing, which reminds me of a new report I once saw about a phenomenon in Taiwan. Let me share with masters and viewers. So this is a story about a family with more than a dozen members. They went hiking deep into the forest. The whole family was happily enjoying themselves back in the 1990s. Everyone uses home video cameras. They all like to record those moments. Yes, and the group had a great time. But after returning home, no one expected that a misfortune would occur. Among the companions that day, there was a brother-in-law who was originally strong and healthy. But for some unknown reason, he suddenly felt seriously ill, and the treatment was ineffective. Unfortunately, he passed away soon after. You can imagine how baffled the whole family felt. Yet they still had to help funerals and honor its life. So the family took out the videotapes from the March 1st hiking trip, saying, "Here's, we were just having fun together a few days ago. Let's take a look back." And what we found was incredible, a phenomenal event. The brother-in-law in the video tape was originally a pretty decent guy. But in the footage, it looks like he grew a fang. This strange phenomenon appeared. What's even more unbelievable is this. When they all walking together in the forest, over a dozen of them in a long line. In the end, there was a little girl in red following behind. She's quite short, yes, but you could see she was wearing children's clothes. Yet her face looks very old and withered, like an old woman. In this video, you could see that she actually followed the family quite far. Could she have been one of the tourists as well? But at that time, no one in the family noticed her. It was simply not seen at all. At that time, it didn't exist. She only existed in this video. You could call it supernatural. When this tape was played later, there was this person on it. But at that time during the trip, they never saw this person in reality. Oh my, this is really scary. Scary indeed. So the whole family took this tape and gave it to the TV stations. After it was released, well, it caused such a great sensation in society. Interestingly, many people came forward to report, I've also seen that girl in red. They said, I've seen it too. And the stories that these people told had one thing in common. What was it? After seeing the girl in red, things didn't go smoothly or auspiciously for them. Not good. For some people, their luck just took a turn for the worse. For others, health problems started to appear. Various unfortunate and inauspicious things happen. It's like seeing a ghost. Yes, that's exactly the feeling. It feels like the negative energy, the yin energy. Especially an elderly person from Sichuan, an 80 years old, Xinzhu from 80 years old lady, an elderly woman, she also said. She also had enjoyed herself in this forest. You know, an 80 years old lady walk a bit slower. She doesn't have that much strength either. She'll need to find a restroom along the way. But taking a break like that is completely normal. But then she went to the restroom and after using it, she disappeared. Her family and friends never found her again. They reported to the police and search was launched in the forest, and they searched for 5 days and 5 nights. Unfortunately, they found her near the restroom and she was heading to about 3 kilometers away. They found this elderly lady by a stream. Then they asked her and said, Grandma, how do you come here? She didn't understand either. She said, I don't know. Because everyone thought that an old lady like you trekking through the mountains and river. Although 3 kilometers isn't that far, she still had to cross rivers and forests along the way. The path wasn't easy to walk either. So I asked the old lady how she managed to go through. Then she said, I don't know. I remember there was a child holding a red umbrella, wearing red clothes, who took my hands and led me along. Then we reached a small river. And the child even let me a cup of water to drink. Holding water, still drinking some water. It seems I lost consciousness, and after that, this is definitely unusual, I know. Usually, an 80 years old lady, even walking on flat ground, can easily fall. Exactly. You were in the mountains, in the remote, almost uninhabited mountains area, missing in the wilderness, then suddenly walking 3 kilometers out. This is unbelievable. So in Taiwan, there's a folk saying that the girl in red is called the mountain spirit. The name mountain spirit is an ancient traditional term. It's like we call a little ghost in the mountain. It is not a ghost, it's like a mountain demons. The demons from demons and monster is a kind of spirit or supernatural beings that Master mentioned. Yes, very supernatural. A kind of spiritual entity, right? Then going back to that family from earlier. The family whose brother-in-law passed away. Didn't he have the videotape? The shaman also advised them, saying your family shouldn't keep this videotape anymore because it has an image of the mountain demon on it, which might bring bad luck. They should take the videotape to the temple. Only then can the family find peace? This is a true story that happens in Taiwan, Master. Soul spirits can really be seen everywhere. But this is not an ordinary spirit, right? It's an actually interact with people and different people. Yes, it really creates these interactions. Yes, the key is that the first person it interacted with, the old man died. That was the brother-in-law. The brother-in-law passed away. The brother-in-law death should be related to it. We all believe it's connected. But why involve an 80-year-old grandmother and take her so far away? Actually, many people didn't know that this kind of mountain demons is also called mountain spirits. In ancient China, the classic of mountains and seas contains records of them. Master, I remember the classic of mountains and seas describes them as truly monstrous and demonic figures. Yes, not like the little girl in the red dress. They come in all kinds of forms. But this kind of mountain spirits demons, the mountain spirits, this kind of demons is a life forms where reality and illusions coexist. For example, according to legends, sometimes when it truly exists, it appears like a person or a monkey. It is usually not tall, about 1 to 1.5 meters, and it has incredible strength. They chatter among themselves, but none of us can understand them. They can even speak. It doesn't speak human language. It's making a squeaking sound like squeak, squeak, squeak. They are all quite bloodthirsty and violent. It is said that this creature is called the Shan Mei. If one of them gets sick or injured and is about to die, something strange happens within the group. They will seemingly share the dying Shan Mei among themselves. Though it's not like you can just cut off a piece of its flesh to eat, but that's essentially what it means. It just absorbs the energy. That's right. But if it gets injured, it will bleed. That's quite peculiar. But sometimes it's like an illusion. It suddenly disappears and you can't see it. It's like having an invisible device. Once you press a button on it, you can't see it anymore. There was a step. It becomes visible again. It's a spirit, like a ghost or phantom. It's something beyond human. The inherent state of the physical form. Master, the brother-in-law suddenly died of a violent illness. Could it be that the mountain spirit absorbed his vital energy? We can only guess, but it's possible. Master, I have a question. That old lady, how was she able to be taken by the mountain spirit to the other side of the river? The mountain spirit has many unique traits, its own characteristics of life. One of its traits is that it likes to play tricks on people. For example, sometimes it transforms into a certain kind of person or into a certain kind of animal, or to lure you in, and then you interact with it. For it, this is just playing. For you, it can be frightening, but this is a playful side of it. Usually, this kind of play doesn't harm you. It's just teasing you. Yes, but when it seems certain people, it might hurt you or even eat you. It would just drain your energy and spirit, just like that. So I think this old lady was someone it felt it shouldn't eat. Actually, it was just playing with her. She reached a place that ordinary people could never get to, a beautiful scenery with a small stream. So the police team searched for 5 days and 5 nights, but found nothing. It was such a remote and rarely visited place, such a corner. So the elderly lady can't go there by herself at all. The elderly lady is actually in a confused state, following you without being fully aware, being controlled. And when it leads her, it's essentially helping her to walk. Think about it. It's all deep in the mountains, and there are even paths without actual roots. If it can lead her that far, then actually it was guiding her, acting like it. But for what purpose? It was to lure humans into an anxiously searching for this old lady. Of course, there might be some karmic connections between the mountain spirits and the old lady before this accident. What kind of relationship they had, I don't know. This was meant to be a kind of playful tricks on her. Got it, got it. Must I have one more question? For monsters like this, evil energy, where do they usually appear? We need to be aware to take precautions against them. Yes, it's better to be prepared. Avoid encountering this kind of evil energy. From a comprehensive perspective on evil energy, it includes monsters, demonic spirits, and evil energies, even ghosts and the like. These are life forms that humans normally cannot see. But sometimes, if you do encounter them, you might end up getting hurt. Sometimes it's physical injury. Sometimes it's emotional. For example, one day you enter a dirty room and then you see some shadows, or maybe you don't. It's possible that after that day you get hurt. You can't study, and you can't sleep. Mental instability is actually quite troublesome. Yes, the kind of room the master mentioned, we shared about it with our online friends before. Some old hotels or castles, room like this can be quite scary. Just a reminder to everyone regarding the question Xiangke asked, where are these kind of things usually found? To put it simply, for example, cemeteries. They are places where people are buried. They are specifically haunted places. Yes, they are places where ghosts reside, right? So if you happen to pass by for some reason, or maybe going there to attend a funeral, if you attend a funeral where you arrive at the cemetery, and if your health is very weak, being very weak could easily cause problems. Then there are places like funeral homes and hospitals. Hospitals are places to save lives and heal the sick. But sometimes they just can't save you and you end up dying. There are also deaths from illnesses, old age, or accidents. Many people ultimately pass away in hospitals. The hospital will have a dedicated department for handling post-mortem affairs. Finally, the body goes to the hospital morgue, which is a place for storing crops. It's like a giant freezer. Usually, it's made of stainless steel. The body is placed inside and pushed in. It has a preservation area, basically a cold storage. This way, the body doesn't decompose easily. But for those who frequently come and go here, problems can easily arise. After all, the person has just died. Their soul hasn't left yet. There's also prison. Those who died unjustly, died violently, or were punished to death inside. Many people were thrown into prison even though they were innocent. There are also petty thieves who stole small things. They end up being beaten to death inside because they are all criminals. When criminals are locked up, their hearts are full of anger. They want to get anyone they see. Originally, they also like to fight. Because of this, many people got injured or even died, so they became restless spirits. Another place is the psychiatric hospital. Psychiatric hospital, mental illness itself. We generally characterize it all as mental illness, but some cases involve possessions by evil spirits. Other might be due to congenital intellectual disabilities. It's also possible that they have got taken in. So there are all kinds of cases, various types. Anyway, many people were tortured to death, or you could say that their bodies themselves have paranormal issues, mental hospitals. Another is haunted houses. Houses where people have died? No. Murder case, sudden death. It should be called sudden death. Death is not always a murder. It's not always a natural death. For example, if someone ages and dies at home, that usually isn't called a haunted house. But if you die from poisoning here, or from jumping off a building, or from hanging yourself, or if someone beats you to death, these are all unnatural deaths. Those are considered haunted houses. Because when it's haunted houses, sometimes spirits may still linger. They haven't left, meaning the issue isn't resolved. This can easily cause problems. There are also places where offerings are unclear, like the dilapidated temple with no official caretaker or Odeon monks to manage it, and no incense burning anymore. Places like this are also prone to incidents. What else? I've heard from several well-known universities abroad, in different places, that usually these schools have been around for over 100 years. The student dormitories at these schools are also places where problems often occur. There are also old spirits there. Yes, because during adolescence, young people lack much life experience. He is easily affected by many things. For example, one is issue with academic performance, being harshly scolded by a teacher, or being bullied by a classmate. Another could even be heartbreaks or breakup, and so on. Actually, these are all very triggering. Because when you're young, you lack life experience, so some resort to taking their own life. This is why, even at some prestigious universities, Such cases occurs like student dormitories. This is pretty scary. Master, I've also heard that they say by the river, right, near the water, these water ghosts often appear. That's right.
比如说
For
到
example,
夏天，
in summer,
每个地方都很热，
every
对不对？
place is very hot,
那
right?
过去呢，不管过去有没有空调的时候，如果遇
Whether
到
or
水
not
呢，
there was air conditioning
儿
back
童呢就
then,
想去下去
if
泡
there's
泡
water nearby,
水。
children
其
just
实如果
want to
成
go
年
in
人
and
如果有
splash
时间的
around.
话，也会进去泡水，
Actually, if adults have the time,
凉爽。
they would
这
also
是
soak
凉
in the
爽嘛。
water.
所以其实
It's
进去
just to
泡泡
cool
水洗
down,
个
to
澡，
feel refreshed.
身体清
So
凉一下。
really,
就是你
soaking
今
in
天你
water
走路
and
逛
taking
街
a bath helps to
5个
cool the
小
body.
时，天挺
For
热的话，
example,
你回
you
到
have
家就
been
是燥
walking
热的，
and
那你
shopping
在
for
门洗
5
澡的
hours
话，
a
通
day,
常先洗个
and the
澡，
weather is quite
清
hot.
爽一下。
When you get home, you
对，
will feel
所
hot
以你
and
家
restless.
附近有一条
If you
大
can take
河，
a shower at
到
home,
大
you
夏
usually
天那
take
么
a
热
shower
哈，
first to feel
有
refreshed.
干农活啊
So
什么
there's a
之类
big
的，
river near your
那
home.
最后泡到
In
水
this
里头
scorching heat
洗个
of
澡
summer,
很正常。
after doing
但是
farm
呢，
work and the like,
有各种
it's
原因
normal
造
to
成
soak
的
in the
呢，
water to
就
take
造
a
成一
bath.
些
But
青
for
少年
various
就
reasons,
在里面溺水
some
而亡。
teenagers end up
是
drowning there.
嗯，
很容
Yes, it's
易。
very
就
easy.
住在有这
So
个
in
河
this
边的这
village
个
by the
村庄
river,
哈，
children
时
often
常
drowned in
就
it.
有孩子淹死在里头。
对，
嗯，所以这
So
种地
that's
方就有个
why
传说，
there's legends
就叫
about
找
this
替
place.
身。
It is called
嗯，
finding
找替
a
身。
substitute.
比如说有个小
How
孩
do you
儿
find
啊，
a substitute?
去年给
For
淹死了，
example, a
淹死
child
在这
drowned
个河
last
里
year.
了。
He
这可能
drowned
就是
in
他的
this
村
river.
庄。
Actually,
哎，
his
据说
village
他心
is
里啊
right beside
耿耿于
nearby.
怀，他很赌气，
It said he was very
说
resentful
这
and
个本
upset. He didn't
本
want
来
to
就不该
die.
死的，
He said he
结果
should
在
have
这儿给我
died in
淹
the
死
first
了。
place,
啊，
yet he
但
drowned here.
是在这个鬼界呢、阴界呢，就会有个说
But
法，
in this ghostly
说
underworld,
不是
there's a
你
saying it's not
想不想死的
about
问题，
whether you want to die or
你走
not.
到这儿了，
They
这
say
个地
once
方
you
每
reach this
年
place,
要死
a
一个
child
小孩，
dies here every year.
那
What
你
about
呢，
you?
也就是被另外一个
It means you are
去
taken
年
by
的死的这
another
个小
child
孩呢，
who died
这个鬼
last
魂
year,
给抓下来了。
taken by that ghost.
所以你到了这个水里就被
So
他
when
给
you
淹死
enter
了。
this water, it drowns you.
这叫替死鬼。
So it's
对，
called a
那之前那
scapegoat.
个灵魂
Right.
呢，
That
就可以
previous soul can
超
then be
脱啊，
released,
是在转世啊
reincarnated,
之类的，
or
就不
something
用
like
在河
that.
里泡着了。
就
So
不
no
用在
need
河
to
那遵
stay
守。
soaking in the river
啊，
那么
anymore.
他这个对
No
这
need
种
to
死的
linger
小
by the
孩呢，
riverbank.
是不
But
服
these
的，
dead children
哎，
aren't,
不服的，也
don't
不希
accept
望
it.
经过阎王
They
爷的
don't
判决，
accept it and don't want to
哎，
go
他就不
through
服，
the
他就
King
在等
Yama's
着，
judgment.
他在说，哎
They
呀，
refuse
甚
and
至他
just
自己
wait
认为
here.
他自己是活
They
的，
catch another one.
对，
他有的是这样的。
Sometimes
但是我
they
说话
even
你听不
believe
见，
they're still
他就
alive.
很生气，把你抓下来了，
Sometimes that's how it
哎，
is.
淹死你之后咱们
But
一块
when
儿
I
了。
speak,
他可
you
能不是
can't
因为
hear
死
me.
亡，我把你
He
进入
gets
和我们同
very
样的状态，
angry
咱
and
们可
will
以一
catch
起玩
you.
了吧？啊，也有这样。所以
After
在河
drowning
边
you,
住的人
we'll
呢，
play
也有
together.
这个凶
He
险
might not see
啊，
that
死替
as
身。
death.
哎，是不是说
I'll
到这个
bring
这
you
个
into
河
the
这个
same
水
same
鬼
state
的
as
这个
us.
替身哈？
Then we can
我
play
听过还有
together.
一种说法，
Something
出
like that.
车
For
祸的那
those
个地
living by
方，
the river, there's
就
also
也
the
要找
danger of
替
finding a
身。
substitute.
所以就
Master
容易
said
更容易
this.
出车
This
祸。
water ghost captures substitutes. I heard there's
出车
another
祸的地
theory
方
that the
啊，
place
还
where the
有一
accident
个
happened
分
also
歧
need to
哈，
capture a substitute.
他有
So
些出车
accidents tend to
祸就
happen
容易出车祸是
there.
个必然。
Usually there's another
比如
analysis
说
about accident
这个
spots.
这是一个村
Some
庄，
places are
村庄
bound
前
to
后
frequent
左
accidents.
往左往
For
右都是5
example,
公里的
this is a
这个
village.
很笔
In
直的
front and
宽的道
behind the
路，
village to the left and
所以
right,
跑在
there
这
are
个路
5
上的汽
kilometers
车
of
呢，
straight and wide
车速
roads.
是很高的。
So the car driving on
但
these
是
roads, the
如果
vehicle
正好这
speed
里有
is
个
very
村
high,
庄
right?
在这里，
But
那
if
农
it
村的
happens
人
to
你
be a
就想着
village there,
靠近公路，如
the
果是个
villagers
餐
would
馆
want
的
to be
话，
close to the
这些
highway.
司机过来吃点
If
东
they
西，
built a
我就可
restaurant,
以做生意赚钱。
drivers can stop
但
by
是
to
过
eat
马路的，
something
尤其是小
and can
孩
do
子呢，
business and make money.
就不懂
But
得这个
especially
交
the
通的
children
知识，
crossing the road,
是吧？
they don't
那
understand
个
traffic
小孩的
rules,
年龄
right?
小的时候，他
When
就会
children
不
are
懂什么
young,
交
they don't really follow traffic regulations. When he wants to cross the street, he just runs that way. There are usually many cars driving fast, right? There isn't much traffic control, no checkpoint or anything like that. Many places don't even have traffic lights. And even if they do, drivers don't really care. They just speed through at high speeds. So, it naturally becomes an area prone to traffic accidents. This is caused by the geographical layout of the area. The car does not slow down, so it's actually prone to traffic accidents. But throughout our investigations and research, no matter what the cause is, this place is prone to traffic accidents.
出交通事故，但是
However,
出交通事故的
some
地方
places where
有
accidents
一些
occur
也是
seems to
阴魂不
linger
散
like
他就
restless
是一些
spirits.
冤枉的，
They feel they
这
have
是
been
我的村
wronged.
庄，我就是不
This
离
is
开
my village. I
就是不
simply
走。
will not leave.
但
I will
是
not go.
在阴界呢就有规矩，
But in the
那
underworld,
你要
there
想
is a rule.
获得你的生
If you
命
want
自
to
由，
gain freedom in
轮
your
回到
life
一个什么好
and
人
be
家转世，
reincarnated into a
那
good
你可以
family,
把下一个
you have to
替身
capture
给
the
抓
next
来。
substitute.
所以在这
So
个
in this
轮
area
回交
prone
通
to
事故的
traffic
地区也有
accidents,
这个事儿。
this also happens.
好的。
All right.
哇，这
Wow,
这
there's so
很多
many
地方我
places
们
like this.
去的时候都
We
要
have
小
to be
心翼
very
翼啊
careful
啊
when we go.
刚才师傅说到的其中
Master
一个
just mentioned
就是
one
容易
of
中
them.
邪的地方就是医院。
Hospitals are places
然后我们
where
有
it's
一
easy
位
to
旧
get
金山的
possessed.
网友就有
We
同
have
样
a
的经
viewer
历，
from
他
San
给我们写了一
Francisco
封
who had a
信
similar
啊，
experience.
给师傅和网友
She
们
wrote
分
us a
享一
letter
下。
to share with
这位
Masters
网
and
友
a
叫
viewer,
妹，她
and
说
her
师
name
傅
is
好，我
May.
来自
She
旧
said,
金
"Hello,
山。
Master. I'm
今
from
天
San
我想分享
Francisco.
一段刻骨
Today,
铭心的
I
经
want to
历。
share a deeply
去年4
unforgettable
月，我
experience.
的姐夫在家不小心滑
Last
倒，
April,
重重地
my
摔在
brother-in-law
地上，
accidentally slipped
当
at
场
home
昏
and fell
迷。
heavily to
紧
the
急
ground,
送医后，
losing
医生
consciousness
宣
on
布
the
他已
spot.
经脑死亡。
After being
通知
rushed to the
家属前
hospital,
往医
the
院，
doctor
决定
declared
是
him
否
brain
放弃
dead.
治疗。
The family was
受到如
notified to
此
come to
突
the
然的巨
hospital
大
to
打
decide
击，
whether to
我姐姐
discontinue
的精
treatment.
神状态整个崩
Faced with
溃
such a
了。
sudden and
她拜托
devastating
我作为
blow,
代表，
my
陪
sister
同其
mental
他家
state
人一
completely
起处理这
collapsed.
件事。
She asked me to act as
当
a
我坐在医
representative
生办
and
公室里，
accompanying the rest
听
of the
着主
families
治
in
医生
handling the
沉重地
matter.
说明情
As
绪
I
情
sat
况
in the
时，
doctor's
突然
office,
间我就感觉
listening
到
to the
有一阵
attending
寒冷的
physicians
阴风
explain the
直直
situations
吹进了我的
gravely,
身体，
I suddenly
那
felt
种
a
寒
cold,
冷
chilling
深入
wind
骨髓，
blow
我不由
straight
自
through
主
my
地打了
body.
一个大大的寒
This
战。
kind of cold seeped
但
deep
当时
into
候
my
呢，我
bones.
就没有多想，
I couldn't
以为
help
这
but
只是
shiver
医院空调太冷
uncontrollably.
了。
But at that
那天
time,
呢，我
I
们是
didn't
做了
think
人
much
生
of
中
it.
最艰难
I
最
just
无奈
assumed
的
the
抉择，
hospital air
然后
conditioning
离
was
开
too
了医
cold.
院。
That day,
刚从医
we
院出
made the
来呢，
most
我
difficult
和
and
侄女
helpless
就开车
decisions of
在
our
回
life.
家的路上，
Then
行驶
we
在
left
高
the
速公路
hospital.
上时，
Just
旁边
after
的车
leaving the
道的一辆
hospital,
大卡
my
车
niece
突
and
然
I
间
were
快速
driving
的
home.
变道，
While
我
on the
只来得
highway,
及听见
we
嘣
were
的一
on our
声
way
巨
back
响，
home. A
感
big
到我的
trucks
车
in the
在疯狂
adjacent
的打
lanes
转，我被
suddenly
快速旋转
swelled
的车
quickly.
身重重摔到了车门框上，
I only had
然
time to
后
hear a
就
loud
不知
bang
道
and I
了。
felt my car spinning
不知道
wildly.
过了多久，
The
当我恢复意识，睁开
rapidly
眼睛的时
spinning
候，
car
我就看
body
见消
slammed
防
me
车、
hard
救
against
护
the
车
door
和拖
frame.
车都来了，
And after that, I
医
don't
护人
remember
员呢把我
anything.
推进救
I
护
don't know
车，
how
而我也
many
被撞
much
得
time
体
has
轻严
passed.
重，连鼻子
When I
都撞
regained
歪了。
consciousness and opened my
刚
eyes,
从
I
医
saw
院
fire
出来，
trucks,
转眼自己就进了
ambulances,
医
and
院。
tow trucks
我以为自
had
己已经
arrived.
够不幸了，
Medical staff
但更恐
pushed
怖
me
的
into
事
the
情还在
ambulance.
后面。
I was
从那
bruised
天以
and
后，
battered.
每天晚
Even my
上当
nose
我
was
一躺
crooked
下来
from the
睡觉，
impact.
一闭上
I
眼睛
just
就
left the
看见六
hospital,
七个
and
男
before I
男女
knew
女
it, I was
出
back
现在我
inside.
的眼
I
前，
thought I'd been
他们
unlucky
一个个
enough,
把脸凑
but
到我
something
眼前，
even more
直直地
terrifying
盯
was
着我
yet to
看。
come.
每个人的
Since
脸
that
都异
day,
常的清
every
晰，
night when I lie
好
down
像
to
不
sleep,
会眨眼
as
似
soon
的，
as I close my
环境
eyes,
阴
I
森，
see 6 or
十分吓
7 men
人。
and women appearing
有时
right
候
before me.
他们还会低
One by
声念
one,
叨一些我
they
听不
leaned
懂
their
的话。
faces close to mine.
起初呢，
They stared
我以为是
straight
往
at
生的
me.
亲人来看
Every
我，
face
但
is
仔细辨认后
unusually
我就
clear,
发
as if
现，
they never
我觉得
blink.
这些人我
Their
一个都不认
expressions
识，
eerie
他
and
们到底是
terrifying.
谁呀？为什么每
Sometimes they
天晚
mutter
上都
softly,
要这
saying
样盯
things
着我
I can't
看呢？
understand. At
而
first,
更
I
奇
thought
怪
they
的
were
是，
deceased
每
relatives
天睡
visiting
觉的
me.
时候，
But
我还
upon
能感
closer
觉到有
inspection,
人
I
在我
realized
的
I
背
don't
上
recognize
拍
a
下
single
我的
one of
肉，
them.
还有
Who
人用尖
exactly
利
are
的棍
these
子戳
people,
我的后
and
背，
why do they
让
stare
我
at me
疼
like
痛
this
难忍。
every night?
因此从那
What's
以
even
后，
stranger
我
is
每
that
天
every
晚上
night
呢都必须
I
吃止
go
痛
to
药才
sleep,
能勉
I I can still feel someone pinching the flesh on my back. There's also someone poking my back with a hard stick, causing unbearable pain. Since then, I have to take painkillers every night just to barely get some rest. These ghost-like beings, they come to haunt me every night. For full 4 months, whenever I closed my eyes, they appeared right before me. I sought medical helps everywhere and seen countless doctors. I even undergone physical therapy, but none of them could help to find specific problems with my body. For 4 months now, I've barely been able to sleep each night, and my body aches all over. I've been tormented to the point of being unrecognizable in the darkest moment of my day. My friends introduced me to Bodhi Meditation's San Francisco Center. After the teachers at the Zen centers learned about my situations, They performed an energy blessing for me and suggested that I invite the evil repelling Zibits at the Mahakala blessing cards. During the blessings, I felt something like energy rising inside my abdomen. Then, all of a sudden, I vomited everything out. After vomiting, I felt an unprecedented sense of relief. I was so comfortable. From that day, I placed the Mahakala's auspicious card by my bedside, and every night I wore the zibit to sleep. I don't even know when it started, but those men and women who had to come every night disappeared. They never appeared before my eyes again. My life has returned to normal. I feel more energetic looking back on this experience. I was desperate and helpless when I was first possessed. For 4 months, I struggled with no way out, and with blessing and protections, I was able to fully recover. I am fully grateful to Masters. Well, that's really quite frightening. It was originally a family tragedy. So we went to the hospital, but she thought it was just the air conditioning. In fact, it was the cold, eerie draft. She even shivered violently. So that moment might have been when the evil spirit possessed her, right, Master? Yes, she was possessed by the evil spirit. So when they went home that day, they immediately got into a car accident. She told me she got into a car accident right after leaving the hospital. They had to take her to hospital. Fortunately, her life is not in danger. Thank goodness, I thought she had at least survived. But then I heard something even scarier. 5 or 6 ghosts followed her home from the hospital. And they came to see her every day. 4 months of this. Who could stand it? Yep, she can't sleep or eat properly and it's terrifying. Master talked about this kind of situation before. Usually, they can't learn, they can't walk either. Their entire mental states just fall apart. Right, that person is ruined. And she has some physical sensation. She has to take painkiller every night because of this ghost, and these things pinch and rubbed her, and it hurts so much. It even feels like they use sticks on her. These ghosts are really. So this time we are talking about the soul and reality. It really interacts with the human's world. Oh my God, in fact, the physical body. Master, what type of relationship do they have with her? Well, I honestly do not know what type of relationship it has with her. There's some malevolent energy if you consider it a ghost because we're in a hospital. I can only make a preliminary statement for now. According to human judgment, it was just a coincidence, elements of coincidence. So sometimes the coincidence factor, you can just want to express something, but don't know how to say it. Then just pinch her. Actually, it's like to scare her, to punish her. For example, after she went there at the hospital, her presence created a clash with the ghost. Just like that old village where everyone loved to fight. After you came over, you bumped into me. Then I'll either scold you or give you a couple of kicks. It's just that the ghost is unhappy and you've provoked it. Now, the second perspective comes from the Buddhist understanding. It's possible to say that before. This ghost and his connections to either his current life or his past life. There is a conflicting relationships. I run into you again in this lifetime. After meeting you, I'm going to collect my debts. I'm going to torment you a little. In other words, they might be Mei's enemies and from their past lives. It's possible. It just happens that we met in a hospital under these circumstances. Hearing this makes me a bit scared. I won't get to the hospital anymore. But sometimes it's just not possible. Right? Sometimes, if we have no choice. But to go to certain places like hospital or cemeteries or funeral homes, what method can we use to protect ourselves? I know about this. For example, the zibits we are wearing today have a very strong protective effect. They ward off evils and block negative energy. Also, as the master told us before, these kinds of vajra, this is something you must always carry in your bag. As for the drivers, they must have a car charms in the vehicles, or you can add our own scriptures like the Dharma classics. They truly serve a protection when you're out and about. Indeed, Sister Mei, after she started wearing the zibits and had the Mahakala's auspicious card, she never saw those male and female ghosts again. She was protected by the auspicious energy herself. So there are quite a few things that can ward off evil. From a Buddhist perspective, items like the Vaja, pastels, or prayer beads, blessed my masters, even the beads needs to be blessed to be effective. This includes any special objects blessed by master. Even a simple piece of paper or wand with some symbols drawn or a few words written on it. It can have this effect. If a master gives you a hat, you might wear it or hang it in your home, and it can also carry this power. It has many functions. As long as it carries this special blessed auspicious energy, it will provide protections. The most important thing is its blessings. Yes, exactly. After that, it depends on the characteristics of the blessed items itself. For example, this is a guardian deities like Mahakala or the yellow Jambala. Some even used to wear Guan Yin's amulets. Even a jade pendant of Guan Yin Bodhisattva can have effect. Master, what about this senior sister? It seems that she has a strong evil aura, with 5 or 6 ghosts following her. Should she wear something like 5 heavenly beads? So carrying more items, right? In fact, the ghost she encountered isn't that powerful. She just won a few simple items and managed to avoid it. For some cases, you might need to wear a more precious talisman to ward off evil. It means the energy is stronger, right? Stronger or more numerous. Only then can it be resisted. But from a Buddhist perspective, the ghost you might encounter, first, its energy isn't very strong. Second, the hatred it holds. That is, its karma. Isn't that very much either? So by wearing a small charm, she was able to ward it off. In fact, when we help people, sometimes you can say that by hanging this protective talisman all over the body, if something like that comes to them, they have these kinds of defense. The karma is too heavy. For example, you're killing karma. Your family runs a pig slaughterhouse. Each killing counts as 20 years. So every day, tens of thousands of pigs are slaughtered, and so on, saying this killing's karma is too heavy. That's why wearing these things is useless. Because this is your sin, this is your karma. Your karma cannot be reduced just by these so-called methods. It's like a golden bell shirt. Go ahead and hit me. I'm not afraid of getting hit. But actually, when it comes to killing, there are countless ways to take your life. So I understand. So in this sense, it's better for us to have more of this auspicious talisman worn. And it's essential to invite an enlightened master to bless them. That way, the energy will be the strongest. Or you can wear them in different ways. Sometimes a treatment is a bit like medicine. Let's say you encounter a venomous bug. For example, you apply medicine A, but it doesn't work. Then you try medicine B. And if that doesn't work, you try medicine C. Using various preventive medicine is the only way to cure this venomous bugs. It's the same principle. I understand. Thank you, Master. So there are different approaches in the same stories as the journey to the West. For instance, when encountering an old demon or monster, no matter how Wukong is attacked, he just won't die. They always end up capturing his master, right? So we decided to ask another Brother Yang for help. But Brother Yang also came back injured. He couldn't win. Then when we asked Brother Niu for help, but he couldn't do it either. His sword was even taken away, you know. Then maybe a certain bodhisattva was called upon, someone seemingly unknown who managed to solve the problems. What did he use again? The relationship of life and death, the cycle of creation and destruction, right? The things basically overcomes that things. For example, feathers, creatures, feathers, animal prey or insects. So when encounter something like some poisons or enchantment, which mainly use poisonous insect, they usually use feathered creatures like rooster. For example, Chinese people often paint rooster, which are actually feng shui painting meant to ward off evils. Rooster and other feathered creatures are birds. And there's also a kind of colorful little birds and so on. So this is actually feng shui painting. It is specifically for insects or for encountering curse, evil energy. Yes, exactly. So a master who can open the heavenly eyes will be able to see what kind of evil energy you have, what exactly it is. Then I find key elements that can counter it. Prescribe the right remedy. Right, for example, if you're possessed by a snake, or maybe the snake spirit is causing trouble here. Usually it stays inside the house, hanging up 2 or 3 pictures of rooster. Actually, rooster or hens both works. It needs to correspond to it. If that's not enough, hang up an eagle. That's why sometimes they say a fierce animal in the form of painting or statue will definitely be bought by someone. There's a reason for this. It counteracts the fierce evil energy. Yes, it specifically counteracts evil energy. So if it's targeted correctly, having this image displayed will take effect. I see. That's how it works. So Master, this Dharma sister is now wearing the zibits, and she can't see men and women coming to her, right? But this means that between them has a karmic connections ended, or is it still there? No, it's not. It's just that you hired 2 bodyguards. These ghosts can't be defeated. Can't defeat them. I'll just hide to the side first. It means the resentment between them hasn't been resolved. We still need a method to resolve this resentment. What method it is? Usually we are disciples of Buddhas, so we typically offer lamps in front of the Buddhas. Rely on the power and virtues of the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas to resolve this resentment. So yes, in terms of the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas' response, such a compassion and tolerance, perhaps it will receive this message. So this solution is excellent. Then we can light lamps and make a merit dedicating to the resentful spirits to resolve their grudges and untie knots. Yes, thank you, Master. Master, shall we give this Sister Mei from San Francisco a lucky gift? Okay. Let's give her a wooden bracelet that symbolizes everything going well and longevity. Receive, thank Master. Alright, Master, next we have a story from a senior disciples at the Bodhi Meditation Hall of Gabon. It's a very inspiring story for us. He said, "Hello, Master, I'm Chen Minghua. I'm 63 years old this year, from Gabon, Malaysia. My mother lived frugally, enduring hardships to raise our 9 children. When I was young, I saw my mother sick, yet she was reluctant to spend money on medical treatment, and I suddenly made a promise in my heart that when I grew up, I would earn money to repay my mother. However, when I was 20, studying away from home, I suddenly received a call from my family. My mother passed away from illness at a young age of 52. I never got to see her one last time, nor did I have the chance to repay her. This regret has become an irreplaceable pain in my heart. Although I miss my mother deeply, I've never dreamed of her. I think perhaps my mother didn't want me to worry, so she never came to me in my dreams until before the Qingming festival in 2022. I dreamt of my mother for the first time in 40 years since her passing. The scenes in my dream filled me with terror. Mother lying motionless in the muddy water in pain. Her face was full of helplessness. I suddenly woke up with a start. I felt like a heavy stone was pressing down on my chest. I couldn't catch my breath. Every Qingming festival, I returned home to pay respects to my mother. But the pandemic delayed me for 2 years. Could my mother's grave have been flooded? At dawn, I immediately called my older brother back home. But my brother told me that he visits our mother's grave every year to pay respects. He said her grave is fine, not flooded, so I can rest assured. Yet, the instinctive bond between mother and child makes it impossible for me to just let it go. I asked my wife to take a few days off work and come with me back to our hometown to take a look. When my wife went to request leave, she found that her boss is a disciple of Grandmaster JinBodhi. The boss suggested we visit a nearby, inquiring at the Bodhi Meditation Center. Maybe we could find a solution. So we went to the Bodhi Meditation Center in Kapong. There happened to be a group practice that day. During the practice, I heard Grandmaster JinBodhi's teaching. The master said dreaming of a loved one suffering may mean they are enduring torments in hell. We can use the Buddha's power to light lamps for them, chant the Buddha's names, and make a merits, praying to the Buddhas and Bodhisattva to guide them to be reborn to the Pure Land. So I immediately understood the meaning of the dream. A mother's plead in a dream. It was not about a grave flooded by water in the real world, but about her soul being tormented, helpless and in pain. So I immediately went to the meditation hall and lit a year-long dedication lamps for the mother, sincerely chanting Buddha's name for her. Miraculously, after lighting the lamps, the tightness in my chest vanished instantly, and my mind felt cleared, and I felt much lighter. Seeing the power of offering lamps work so quickly, I decided to go to the meditation hall every week to chant Buddha's name, continuing to accumulate merits and virtue for my mother. In January that year, while I was chanting for my mother in the chanting class, I suddenly saw a vision. The master was giving a lectures in the meditation hall, and my mother was sitting quietly beside him, listening. After class, I asked the teacher, "Can those who have passed away come to the meditation hall to attend lectures?" The teacher told me, "Because I make merits by lighting lamps for my mother, she received the protections of the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. Therefore, she was able to enter the meditation hall and was able to hear the master's teaching. This is truly a great blessing. And this meal filled me with joy, and I believe that my mother has definitely gone into a good place." Later, when I listened to Grandmaster JinBodhi explaining the Upstone Bodhisattva Sutra, he mentioned the importance of making more merits for deceased parents, for to set them free from the cycle of rebirth. This is truly filial piety. I was moved to tears. Mother passed away 40 years ago, but she never had a good life, and now I finally have the chance to do merits for her, to help her leave sufferings behind and find happiness, being a truly filial child. True filial piety is not about crying or blaming yourself, nor is just about tomb sweeping and worship. It's about accumulating merits and virtue for them, helping them to be freed from suffering and find joy. Grateful to Grandmaster JinBodhi for teaching me, an unfilial child, to fulfill my duties. So this transformation is truly wonderful. I truly understand the regret they feel. Since he was young, he had a wish to be filial to his mother and give her a good life. But his mother passed away at a young age. So as a son, she couldn't even be at her side to show filial piety, nor was he able to see her off on the final journey. So this regret has been built up for 40 years. So when she dreamt of the mother asking for help, she felt even more fearful and uneasy. Fortunately, it's this good karma that guided her to the meditation hall when she heard the master's teaching. Shall we give presents for these senior brothers? Yes. Let's send him a gift. So this is a calligraphy painting of the character dragons that I wrote a few years ago. It's so beautiful. It looks like flying. So may it bless him with good fortunes and may his wishes fulfilled. May he receive longevities and a joyful smile always. Thank you, Master. That's great, Master. You mentioned about deceased parents. That's a kind of message that brings children to seek help. Just a couple of days ago, I heard Master consulting a student. I found it very interesting, and it was the first time I heard it. The student came to see Master's. Her tongue was moving uncontrollably inside her mouth. She couldn't control it right. She's Korean. So she went to major hospital for checkup. She had MRI scans and all kinds of tests done. The doctor said she had no illness, but she was very troubled herself. For example, when she was eating, her tongue moved on its own, causing her to bite it. Sometimes, when she was speaking, her tongue would move uncontrollably, making her speech unclear. This condition lasted for several years. She was very distressed and came to consult Master. I remember Master closes his eyes at that time and used his spiritual visions to look at her situations. When Master opened his eyes, he said, "I see a darkness, a human face. I also see a great river." Then Master asked, "Regarding your ancestors, especially those on your father's side, when they were buried, how were their ashes placed?" And the sister said, "My father passed away over 50 years ago. At that time, she was only in her teens, very young. Back then, people in the hometown would scatter the ashes into the river after cremations. So there were no graves. They didn't bury the ashes in the ground. So when we heard that, we all thought, wow, how amazing. So when Master saw a big river, it turned out that father ashes has been scattered into that river. That's how Master made the connections. The person's face Master saw was a father. Then the Master took another look and said, oh, this father's soul is extremely angry. Why is that? Because he has never had a place where he can settle. His soul is on this side of the river. But his ancestral home, the family cemeteries, is on the other side of the river. So this soul cannot cross over and cannot acknowledge his ancestor. And he didn't even have a grave, nor was he even laid to rest. So his soul was left wandering. It's truly pitiful. He's curled up under someone's eaves, squeezed into a tiny little corner, almost like a dog's kennel. So he's both angry and restless. And even the masters want to smooth him but can't. However, Master was also able to clearly receive information from that soul. He really wanted to have a graveyard, like one on the hillside, for example. He hoped to be properly buried. When Master saw this, he verified everything one by one with the Dharma sisters. Then Master guided the Dharma sisters, saying, look, the Ullambana festival is coming soon. It is a time to honor our ancestors and to invite the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. Especially when Erstwhile Bodhisattvas is performing liberation rites, the best time to offer prayers for these departed souls, you need to do both aspects. First, for the folks' rituals, you must burn paper money for your father, including at least 3 sets of seasonal clothing, because your father has nothing. Also, you must burn a paper house, a better house for your father, so that at least your father's soul has a place to settle. We can't let him keep curling up under the eaves like that. It feels like a doghouse. It's so pitiful. That's why he's so angry. Then the Master said something even more important. You need to light a lamp for your father and make merits. All kinds of merits should be done. Pray to the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas to guide his soul, especially during the Ullambana festival. The gates of hell are wide open to guide this soul to rise higher, ideally to reach the eastern pure land of lapis lazuli. That is true and eternal liberations. I feel the Master's guidance is especially good. It turned out that her strange conditions is related to her ancestors. That's right. So her tongue moves uncontrollably. Have you ever heard of the tongue moving uncontrollably? No, right? Exactly. So this is connected to the restless spirits of the father. So there is this connection. Yes, this Dharma sister asked me because her tongue was moving uncontrollably. I even mentioned her heart just now. This is also related to the heart. From a health and physiological perspective, this makes sense. Because the heart is unsettled. The heart is always in a state of extreme tension. So this psychological unease might also be a message brought by the father. I believe it is. I really think Master is truly amazing. He saw the root cause clearly, and he also gave Dharma sisters a good way out. So we hope that Dharma sisters, after settling her father's restless spirit, can also regain her own health. Especially with the Ullambana festival approaching, now is the perfect time to perform this ritual. So listening to this story, doesn't it inspire us? If our ancestors or deceased parents were not properly buried, it can have significant impact on our descendants. Yes, because of the direct bloodline connections, they will come to us with their matters. Alright, just now we heard the Dharma brothers, Chen Minghua's performing a marriage for his mother, and also the Dharma sisters consulting masters, whose tongue was able to move. So these are actually the deceased parents reaching out to their children, seeking help and seeking a better place to go. And now it just so happens to be the Ullambana festival. So let me introduce to some new viewers who are watching these live streams for the first time. a bit about the Ullambana festival, including the offered rituals and merits-making activities. So in our Bodhi Meditation College website, as soon as you enter, you can see the Ullambana Festival 2025. So let me first introduce the lamp offering projects. We can dedicate it to our parents from past lives and to our ancestors from all generations. Also, for relatives and friends who have passed away, we offer lamps of dedications for them. We pray to the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas to guide them to be reborn in the Western Pure Land of lapis lazuli. Each lamp costs $18. We can also follow our heartfelt wishes and offer more lamps for ancestors from many lifetimes. Or offer more lamps for a particular deceased person. This way, they can receive more merits and be better guided on their journey. The time starts from when you place your order today. We will light the lamps continuously until the 30th day of the 7th lunar month, which is September 21st on the calendar. The earlier the better. Submit your order sooner, and the lamp lighting periods will be longer. This way, our ancestors, our parents from past generations, and the departed can receive more merits. We are grateful to Master for such compassionate projects. And this year, we have this launched the first time globally a ritual set for the Ullambana season. So what does it mean? It means that within the set, for example, the Silver Treasure Mountain sets, there is a Silver Treasure Mountain statues. Look at this picture. It's very tall, with so many silver ingots piled up to form a mountain. It also includes a copy of the Earth Soul Bodhisattva Sutra and a copy of the Heart Sutra. There are also 10 silver bars, 36 silver ingots, and the lotus flowers, plus 5 stacks of spirit money. So the Silver Treasure Mountain is meant for deceased loved ones to provide them with a comfortable life, free from worries about food and clothing. They won't lack anything they need. As for the Golden Treasure Mountain set, it contains a gold treasure mountain models inside. It also includes the Earth Soul Bodhisattva Sutras and the Heart Sutras. There are 10 gold bars and 36 gold ingots. It also comes with lotus flowers and spirit money, and it symbolizes our deceased loved one have ample food and clothing, and abundance of wealth and needs of the departed, endlessly enjoying and never exhaust. And this set of gold, silver, and treasures combined even more comprehensively, and it symbolizes great wealth, prosperity, complete fortunes of the departed, enjoying endless benefits. So now all those sacrificial offerings are given to our ancestors through the generations, or it could be for deceased loved one. They can receive and benefits from the memorial offerings, and the lotus inside symbolizes purity and freedom from defilements. It represents compassionate guidance of the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, helping the departed soul attain swift liberations. The Heart Sutras, the Earth Soul Bodhisattvas, inside also signify the universal illuminations of the Buddha's light, enabling the departed quickly accumulate merits, increase their blessing and wisdom. So that's truly wonderful. Very grateful to Master. So first of all, it is for ancestors and departed loved ones. They need some money for their use, like these treasures and so on. This way, there will be more abundance, with no worries with food or clothing. So with such a package, we relied on the great merits of the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas to allow the departed soul to attain auspiciousness and completeness, so that their merits and wealth may increase. May you soon attain perfect liberations and be free from suffering. Grateful to Master. So teacher, I have a question from an online friend. So if I sign up for this sacrificial package, will you send the silver ingots and the treasure mountains to my home? No need at all. It's not that complicated. So as long as you perform this merits and invite the sacrificial set, the Bodhi Meditation College will take care of these offerings offered before the Buddhas until the day of the Ullambana festival. We'll then burn it away. This way, our departed loved ones, ancestors through generations, and parents from many lifetimes, all the spirits you wish to honor can receive it all. That's wonderful, very convenient. receive the Buddha's blessings and empowerment. So it's a reminder to everyone, before September the 6th, we must make sure to submit this order. Only then can we earn these merits. Alright, I will complete the live broadcast and sign up immediately. So our long-time online friends and our valued customers all know this. They can also use the bonus. So we can use the same amount of money to do more good deeds. For our ancestors, we are extremely grateful to Master. Very good. Master, next I shall share a story with you. It is sent by online friends from Toronto. Her name is Zhou Hengshi. She said hello to Master. 7 years ago in the summer, she attended an event. At that time, she was inside the hall. Her seat was right under the air vent. The cold air blew on her head and face. It felt very cold and uncomfortable. After the evening ended, while driving home, she felt the muscles on the left side of the face were a bit weak. That night, when she looked at the mirror at home, she noticed the corner of the left eyes and left mouth were both drooping to the left, and the muscles were completely uncontrollable. The next day, she hurried to see a doctor. The doctor told her that she had facial paralysis. She tried many different treatments, but her condition showed little improvement. She felt really frustrated. Facial paralysis has made her life very inconvenient. She also felt very self-conscious when she go out to meet people. Upon senior's advice, she started practicing energy bagua every day. After more than 2 months of persistence, the drooping of the mouth and eyes has improved somewhat. But the muscles on the left side of the face were still very stiff. Whenever she smiled, the expressions on the left face looked very unnatural. The left eyes often tears up. This situation troubles her almost every day. Until 2018, she signed up to participate in Master's class in Toronto. And the day one class when Master performed the energy blessing, a sudden scene appeared before her eyes. She was standing by the sea fishing when she caught the large sea turtle. The fish hook caught precisely on the left side of the sea turtle's mouth. She pulled the fish hook, and it forced to slowly crawl onto the beach. The large sea turtle looked to be in great pain. Its eyes filled with sorrow. She knew it harbors resentment towards her. At that moment, she finally understood the cause of the facial paralysis. In the meditation hall, she quickly lighted the lamp for the sea turtle. She prayed to resolve the karmic grudges accumulated over lifetimes and repent her sin. From then on, she vowed to cause no harm to any sentient beings. Since then, she has been reciting the Buddha's names every day without fail. 2 years later, during an online Buddha's recitation class with the masters, while reciting the Buddha's name, she saw this large turtle again. It still glared her angrily, harboring resentment, unwilling to forgive her. She knew it had not forgiven her yet, so she practiced even more diligently and continued to repent. And she dedicated the merits from volunteering work at the center to this sea turtle. Day after day, with single-minded focus on chanting the Buddha's names and sincere repentance. And during the 2022 Ullambana festival, held at the meditation hall, she saw this turtle again, while chanting the Buddha's name. But this time, it was different. It finally showed her that it was happy. She knew that she had finally forgiven her, and since then she was surprised to find that the muscles on the left side of the face were no longer stiff and returned to normal, and she could naturally make facial expression again. Well, it's interesting to see that the cause and effects are real and undeniable. So her facial paralysis comes out very suddenly because the doctors couldn't explain her conditions. Later, she attended the course, and there was a time that Master's blessing when she finally saw the cause and effect. And this caused the cause of a facial paralysis.
通常就是出现面瘫，这面瘫的人的人数还挺多的。
Usually, there are quite a lot of people with facial paralysis.
和一只海龟有关系。
It's not as you might imagine, like being related to sea turtle. But you can't see there's no connection either. So after her practice, she saw it.
看到海龟。
And after practicing for 7 years, she saw the sea turtle manifest without anger. So it's about reconciliations, even the feelings of joyful forgiveness. Then her face healed as well. You can't say it doesn't matter. Actually, it matters a lot, right?
这其实很有
Yes,
关
it
系。
is.
对，
Because so happened that she hooked the left side of the sea turtle, and her left side was affected too. Her left face became paralyzed. This reminds me of a story earlier about the sister Mei at the San Francisco Center.
妹师姐那个故事，不是当时
So at that time, Xiang Ke even asked Master, those 5 or 6 evil spirits following her, do they have karmic connections with her? Then Master said maybe they do, but it's not like this.
念佛的时候就看到了，对不对？
So for this Dharma sister, Zhou Heng, when she was chanting Buddha's name herself, she saw them, right?
开了这个缘结啊，也真的是非常。
So I believe there must be such a
这
karmic
也是我们有
connections.
些大灾大病、大难
So
之类
senior
的
sister Zhou
它
Heng
都
was
是有
very
一个
kind.
因
She
果
truly
关系
and completely
只是说
resolved these
我们的
grievances.
智商能力是有限。
Sometimes we have limited abilities. We may not be able to see the cause and
所以就
effect.
不知道说，就总以为说我就是这就是一种病。
对，
其实有很多称为病，但
So
是这个有一
sometimes
个
it is considered a
更长久的
illness,
病因。
but these illnesses have a deeper and more
有
long-lasting
一些朋友
meanings.
就会说，
So some
这个
friends
海
would
龟
say,
就
well,
算
even
是
if you
你
catch
把
the
它
sea
给钓上
turtle,
来
kill
给
it,
杀了给吃了
and eat it.
就有这么大的因果
So
吗？
is the
我
karma
们这一
really
生
that
吃过多
heavy?
少动物？
How many animal have we
就
eaten
是
in
我
our
们这一
lifetimes?
生哈，一个
That's
人吃
still
过
a
多少
lot.
动物？
So in our entire life, how
那动物
many
这个
animals
因果
has
关
one
系的
person
话，
eaten?
那是不是
Countless.
很多人也都
So
会
if we apply this
最后
karma
都是
logic,
病歪歪的
wouldn't
很
many
痛苦。
people end up sick and suffering in the end?
事实上是，
Indeed, it is true.
就很多人病
Many
得很
people
重
are
啊。
seriously ill.
他
They
这
only
个
pass
这
away
个
after
病苦受
enduring
后
great
之后
suffering from
才
the
是死
illness.
亡。
Yes, that's right. Like the story
那
we
这
just
个
read.
像我们刚才读的这个
周恒的故事，
周恒
The
这个
Zhou
多
Heng
伦多的故
stories,
事，
the stories of
你看
Zhou Heng from
他通过
Toronto.
修行，就
You
把这
see,
样一
through
个
spiritual practice, she was able to unravel and resolve such a harmful connections.
那
By
通过修
practicing
行
and doing
啊
good
做功
deeds,
德，
after the
啊
final
最后
7 years,
7年
the
之
sea
后，
turtles
海龟也
forgave her.
原谅了他，
Her illness
他的病
healed
自动
on
就
its
康
own.
复了。
So her ailment
哎
was
所以
related to the
他
sea
这个病
turtles'
痛
hatred towards
和
her.
另外这
That's
个
right.
海龟对他的憎恨
So-
有关系。
是的，
对。
师傅，那我们也送给
So, Master,
多
shall we
伦多
just
同
give
行
Sister
周
Zhou
恒
Heng
师姐
from
一
the
个礼物
Toronto
吧
Center
给我
a
们带来
gift?
这么好的海龟的故事。
好，
She brought such a wonderful stories about the sea
你可以看。
turtle. Good.
我看有
Let's
点
give
像
her a
小叶
mala.
紫檀的哈，
哦，
还有一
I
个
think it
念
looks
珠
like
啊
a small leaf
啊
red
希望能够
sandalwood
保佑
prayer
你
beads necklace.
健康
I hope to
长寿
bless her with health,
吉祥
longevities,
笑
and
口
good
常开
fortunes.
啊谢
感
谢
恩。师傅。
May you always wear a smile. Thank you,
师傅
Master.
有个问题啊，就是说
Master, I have a
这个
questions.
因为周恒
It
师
is
姐
about
在
Dharma Sister
海龟
Zhou
的时候
Heng.
她看到是
During
这
her
个
meditations,
海龟
she
跟
saw
她
that
的
this
这
sea
个缘
turtle
所以才
had a
造成
connection
这
with
个
her,
但
which
是
caused the
其他人
illness,
如果
right?
说他没有那么
But
清
for
晰地看
others,
到说怎
If
么
he
造
hasn't
成
clearly
他
seen
的
how his
这个
current
信仰
misfortune or
这个
illness come
他要
about,
怎么
how
就
can
是
he
说
perform
这
this
种
act of
的
merits?
这个很难说哈，
That's hard to
就是
say
说，
because
因为
this
我们这
video
个视
is
频
always
总是
only
一些
seen
很
by
有缘的
those
人
with a
才能
strong
看到，
connections.
还
And
更
for
多
more
的人
people,
的
your
话，
questions
因
is
为
too
这个问题
big.
太大了，更多的人可能
Most
看
people
不到
probably won't see it.
看不到，
And
别
if
说
they
做
can't
功
see
德
it,
了，他
let
啥都
alone
不懂，
perform
该吃
merits,
继续
he
吃，
doesn't understand
该不该
anything.
吃他就继
He
续
just
去
keeps
吃去
eating,
做，
continuing to
所以
do
只能
evil.
是有很多时
Whether
候
he
病
should
上加
eat
病，
or
罪
not,
上加
he
罪。
just keeps eating and
因
doing.
为我没有经过这个教
So
化
there are many times when illness adds to illness
那就是
and
已
sins
经
add to sins.
啊，听过我
Because he
们这
hasn't
个
undergone
这
this
篇
kind of
今天的这个
medications,
内容哈，
it means that already
觉得
those
自己
who have
心
listened to
中有所
today's
顾忌的
contents
人
feel
呢，
some
但是
hesitations
也
in
不
their
知道
heart,
你
but
之前
still
吃
don't
了
know
谁
what
杀
to
了
do.
谁这种
The cause and
这
effect
个因果
relationship
关
of
系
who you
哈，
ate before
一
and
个是
who
你
you
可以去
killed.
谈谈自
One
己，
option is to
那
consult
么
the
第二个
meditation
的话
hall.
呢，也可以
For the
说
second opinion,
就
you
算
could
是
also say that even
不
if
需要咨询
consultation
的
is
话，
not needed,
为自
it
己
is necessary
前
to
世
light
今
lamps and
生
offer
所
prayers
伤害过的一
for
切
all
众
sentient
生，
beings you have
为
harmed
他
in
们
your
永
past
生超
and
度
present life to
做
help them
必要
find
的。
peace.
对，所以你
So
看
this
今天
year,
我们
we
推出的
launched
这
this
个
Ullambana
蓝蓝
Festival
别
lamps
超荐
offering
真
for
的就
two
是两
groups.
类嘛，
One group
对，
is
一
for the
类是给
deceased,
往生者
including the
家里
ancestors and
给
parents
父
with
母
many
的这
generations.
些呢，那个
For
是
them,
就是
we
直接
directly
请菩萨
invite the Buddhas and
接引他们
Bodhisattvas stars, a lamp to guide them to be reborn to the Western Pure Land or Lap. Another type is for resentful creditors and infant spirits, those who have debts or grievances with us. We often them these lamps to call the disasters relieving and grievance resolving lamp. This is a special intention that the master hold, a compassionate wish to untie these knots of resentment. And thus way, they are then guided by the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas to a better place. Sometimes people make mistakes in their actions. Sometimes it even affects their own families, right? For example, your unborn children, the so-called infant spirits. The baby is still in the wombs. Then there are also those actually related to your parents or grandparents spanning 2 or 3 generations. While they are still alive, some unresolved emotional knots remains, creating grudges and resentment. So some elderly people, when their time comes, he might feel that with his children, once we are gone, the bond between us will be severed. There are such feelings. So I've mentioned before that some elderly people don't necessarily think this way. Some elders, in order to break this bond, say, when I die, don't trouble yourself to perform any rituals for me. Just forget about me as if I never existed. So they have their ashes scattered in the sea or the river. Or you can just throw it into the soil and that's fine. At least a cup of fertilizer, let me return to nature. That's one way to put it. But there are many feelings in my heart. Besides disappointment, there's a kind of resentment inside. Maybe before death, because of this resentment, he said things like this. But after death, if his soul is truly suffering over there, he will come back looking for you. The future generations still won't live well. Like the Dharma sisters earlier, whose tongue was moving uncontrollably. She has that problem. So from a medical perspective, the tongue is connected to the heart. It reflects your heart being affected. But your wisdom is limited, so you still don't understand what's going on. You keep getting checked everywhere. The doctor said there's no illness. Yet inside, the tongue moves erratically for no reasons. So it's quite frightening. So it's like the tongue has developed a life of its own, it's causing trouble there. What if it's manifest in the heart? If the tongue doesn't move, does the heart does? It turns into animal. Or you might lose your life. Now, regarding your father not performing the ancestral rites and throwing him into the river, is there any connections? Yes. I think there is. Because you said to throw a father's ashes in the river and be done with it, because there isn't even a tombstone, or people from the south, like those in Taiwan, would at least make a plaque. Something like a spirit's tablet, so they can perform rituals at home. But here, we Northern Chinese, as you know, in Korea, among other few others who do this, he just thinks, why bother with rituals? Once it's done, it's done. He doesn't even know the exact day they died or when their ashes were scattered. So it's all forgotten long ago. So would he still perform the rituals? No. When parents raise you, it's truly a life of hardships and toil. They care for you through every little things, right? Even from the very beginning, even before you were born, they started taking care of you. They continue to care for you until they themselves grow old and pass away. Their soul even keep thinking about you, don't they? After he passed away, have you ever felt a sense of remembrance? Have you ever talked with your children saying, let's recall together the kindness of grandparents or parents? Not at all. Not to mention holding memorial ceremonies or anniversaries or rituals during Qingming festival or the merits of the Ullambana festival. Never even thought about them. So, while deeply tormented by pain, I felt no moral condemnation either. I just think I'm normal. If I get sick, then I get sick. It really disturbs you, causing unrest in both bodies and mind. Therefore, I believe that the sister's tongues moving uncontrollably is deeply connected to the suffering her father endured. So there are some relations. Fortunately, Masters guided sisters on how to change this situation. So now it's the Ullambana festival. She must earnestly perform good deeds, lighting lamps, doing good deeds, and making offerings. We have to repay these debts of over 50 years. The father had a hard time. So this year, we have prepared these ancestral worship kits. Yes, the ancestral worship kits. To make it easier, for everyone to remember their ancestors and don't forget the wrong spirits and creditors. That's right. Sometimes because of our ignorance, we cause harm. For example, if I caught a turtle while fishing, I'm hungry today, and there's a fish swimming right there. I'll smash it with a stick and scoop it up with a net, cook it, roast it, and eat it. Do you think I'm hungry? Many people say it's reasonable because I need it. So eating it and taking it is justified. But actually, that's not the case. It's a living being too. So it means we just did nothing wrong without realizing it. That's why we think it's okay. Therefore, when many people face the consequences of their actions, they often say to themselves, I haven't done anything terribly wrong. I consider myself a good person. But that's not necessarily true. Many times, in order to survive, you end up causing the death of many animals. You seek to gain more for yourself, which means others receive less. Even the joy you expect to gain from something is the same way. I have belittled my brothers and sisters. I belittled my colleagues and classmates, taking honor and benefits for myself. So you have already committed grave wrongs and created negative karma. It's just because of ignorance that you are unaware. Because of ignorance, you're confused. And because of ignorance, you cause harm. So this time, we are providing everyone with this opportunity to do good deeds easily. So I hope you use this. You only need to have a little intention. We will help you do it, so you can have a heart of gratitude, grateful for the nurturing kindness of our parents and elders. Therefore, you need to perform the rituals during the Qingming festivals and Ullambana festivals. These are the times for rituals. In fact, in many places, it's still done. During the Spring Festival, even the ancestors and elders are honored with rituals. Like my hometown, on the afternoon of New Year's Eve, we go to pay respects. Like in China, every region is different. But during the Spring Festival, everyone performs rituals. So this time, we are providing this convenience for you as to help you learn to have a heart of gratitude. So there are three types of people. One type has a grateful heart. Another has it too, but not deeply. For example, when the elder passes away in just a month or two, it's completely forgotten. Nothing at all. The benefit is that it doesn't affect your health. You quickly free yourself from the pain. Now, the third is, if you die, you die. It's all over anyway. You forget the anniversary of death and the gratitude fades away too. For example, when talking about the kindness of elders and parents, sometimes family members would say, those who are alive shouldn't always bring up matters of the afterlife. Don't keep bringing up the deceased. For the sake of good fortunes, we say not to mention these things. That way, our family can be saved and blessed. But that's not really the case. The more heartless and unkind we are, the more illness and disasters come knocking. The more heartless and unkind we are because of our coldness and cruelty, when the elders pass away at their final moments. Finally, since you're all so heartless and ungrateful, let's sever this bonds of affections and love from now on. So take my ashes and throw them into the sea, the river, or even the wind, anywhere you like. Let them disappear. You don't need to hold any memorial for me. From now on, this gratitude between us is gone. You are able to hold memorials because of this gratitude. I believe it is precisely of this gratitude that you remember and honor me. Out of thankfulness of this bond, you often think of it. Only when can you live a happy life? Sometimes use your memories. The happiness you once shared with your parents and elders. When we recall the happiness, it becomes a form of self-healing, self-therapy, a way to regain your health. The most troublesome are those who are heartless and ungrateful, ending everything without rituals or remembrance. The downside is, if you don't honor your parents and elders too, when you grow old, your children might have already forgotten you even before you pass away. And that's why many parents, after falling ill, find their children have all left them. They have children, but it's as if they have none, right? No one cares anymore. If you're an old bachelor with no children, you are mentally prepared for that when the time comes, right? I won't have any extravagant expectations. But if you have several children, they just ignore you. If you were going to care about you, you would say so. I only come because you give me money. At times like this, people actually feel even more emotional, right? So many elders make such a decision to severe type. Yes, we are very grateful to masters for teaching us. We truly must be thankful to our ancestors and our parents. This feeling of gratitude is a kind of human affections, this kind of love. It is what makes our life meaningful. And also, our descendants will have a better futures. Life is truly filled with love, isn't it? Being loved and loving your own families in return. How happy that is. Even loving this world, loving every blade of glass and trees in this vast world. This love is what truly brings you happiness. In the present life, you can have money. But if you don't have love, you feel like a lifeless piece of wood. Right, meaningless. It's called being rich but heartless, numbed and indifferent. Cold-blooded creatures, right? Isn't it? People will label them with that name. Yes. But in reality, such people do not feel happiness living their own lives. It's like this. So we are people who have love, and since there's love, we understand the love given to us by our parents, elders, and relatives. We must have a heart of gratitude. Therefore, when parents, elders, and relatives leave us, we often still miss them. But at critical moments, we must also perform rituals and pay respect, doing merits for them, right? Whenever you are, if someone is a Buddhist believer, when their parents or relatives are about to pass away, they themselves, along with friends and relatives, and even ordained masters, are invited to perform liberation rites and chant Buddha's name. I believe this process is a very sincere and grateful one. This is also recorded in the Earthstone Bodhisattva Sutra and taught in the same way. The parents are also freed, and in fact, so are you. What does your liberation look like? You will no longer be tormented by the inexplicable suffering. You won't be driven to despair by the resentment born from your parents' disappointment in you. You won't be in unbearable pain. So why does the Dharmasister's tongues keep twisting and wandering restlessly in her mouth? Because the tongue is your heart. Your heart is bound together with the spirit. Your father is suffering over there. You are also suffering here. The future you will continue to suffer. So Dharmasisters quickly repay and do good deeds to make up for these regrets. This method refers to this person. When I told everyone, it was to share this outcome. So we must have a grateful heart. Because of gratitude, there's love. Because of gratitude, I want to perform a ritual. And because of gratitude, I want to do good deeds for my family. That's also another reason. It is because of ignorance that we cause harm, right? Ignorance leads to harms towards other sentient beings. Today we steal chickens, tomorrow we eat a duck. It's all harmed. In fact, you have taken someone's life. So when we discuss the matter of sea turtles, then a junior sister said, Master, I have a question. If you kill a sea turtle and then you repent for 7 years, if someone repents for 7 years, why does it take 7 years for her to recover? It's such a long time. I use a human analogy. If you kill a person, for example, if your relative is killed, but the murderer is sentenced to only 7 years, well, I'm not doing it, Master. Do you agree? I don't, right? Yes. So the deceased can't come back to life, but at least he should be executed, right? Life imprisonment then. According to the law that forbids execution, at least life imprisonment is necessary. Life without parole. That's a reasonable sentence. Otherwise, how can we ease the victim's hatred? So they say a life for life. So you killed the other person, or even more than one. For example, if you run a slaughterhouse or a chicken farm, you lose count of how many you killed every day. Then, when you get liver cancer and suffer a bit, you think, I've done so many good deeds, so why do I still have liver cancer? You have killed so many living beings, right? You are simply putting yourself in their shoes. If one thing, if it's just a sea turtle, but what if it were your child, really? That's why we must always put ourselves in others' shoes. The harm caused by ignorance is actually immense. And all the sins and merits that comes back to us, when they remount, are magnified at least 10,000 times. So being hurt by someone, for 7 years is actually quite little. Yes, and in the end, even the turtle smiles and forgives. How forgives they are. So this forgiveness comes from the blessings of Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. If you try to talk to an ordinary shaman, the problems won't be solved. I won't forgive you. So under the compassionate and radiant lights of Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, the turtles is also learning. One way is to rise above and learn to let go. I learned to be tolerant, so I forgive you. Otherwise, not only would your facial paralysis not get better, it could progress to full paralysis for years, then eventually lead to death. That's terrifying. So it's really troublesome, isn't it? That's terrifying. So this illness is very common. You're lucky. So many cases of facial paralysis never improve. So pray to the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas to dispel disasters and resolve difficulties. Untying grievances is incredibly effective, so this is the best way out. So by relying on the compassionate and powerful blessings of Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, we can benefit all beings and resolve calamities. Only then can we achieve our wish and auspiciousness. Great to the Master's teaching. Alright, today we have heard so many inspiring stories. Listening to Master's teaching, we've learned a lot. We would also like to ask Masters for blessings to those who sponsor the online Dharma propaganda at Yusu Home. These dedicated individuals. Alright, the Buddhas Bodhisattvas will surely bless you. Those who generously sponsor at Yusu Home, our online Dharma propaganda centers, we wish all supporters and sponsors everything goes smooth. May your wishes be fulfilled. May your whole family receive happiness. May you receive great wealth. May you be reborn in the eastern pure lands of Lapis Lazuli. So let me give everyone a preview of our next live stream. It's Taipei Asia time, August 24th, 2025 at 5 p.m. Korea time, 6 p.m. The time in Vancouver, North America is 2 a.m. August 24th, 2025. So we'll join the live streams then to learn from Master. Alright, wishing everyone good fortunes and happiness. See you in the next live broadcast. Thank you, Master.
小的红点里，人生就此欢喜。我快乐了，我健康了，我幸福了，我美丽了。在茫茫人海之中，让我与你相遇。小小的红点里，人生变得神奇，我智慧了。